What's really important here is the type of base. It should be a mesh so that the wool can easily pass through.
Are there ones that aren't mesh?
Sometimes there's a very dense fabric on the back through which no wool will go at all, and it will just stand stiff on the piece, and that's it. So the sequins should be as flexible as possible, like these. And the backing should be as loose and mesh-like as possible. Now, as for the quality of the sequins themselves, here, of course, the selection is huge, practically unlimited. But look, I really like these double-sided sequins, the kind that can flip in any direction, and they look really striking on a finished piece. In addition to that, I also picked up some mesh. Well, this kind of fabric also looks great, and I'll show you where you can use it so that it really stands out and looks vibrant. And today we also have this kind of fabricids, a knit, which really needs to be punched with a needle because, you know, it's sort of felt, but if you're a beginner, you might have some trouble with it. So it's better to punch it a little with a needle to make it easier to work with. Well, let me show you something else now. Look, on the green hat here, see there's a small piece where exactly this kind of fabric is felted in. See, it looks really nice. It has a bit of shine, a shimmer to it.
Yes.
And it adds some texture to it.
Beautiful.
By the way, on this hat too, look, it looks almost like little emeralds. Look.
Yeah. You'd never guess what it's made of just by looking at the hat.
Never, of course. If someone isn't into felting, they won't have any idea how this is made at all. And besides that, of course, there's the Magellanic open weave silk that we all love. I also have some pieces of Excelsior silk here. And there's this kind of yarn. I'll show you how I work with it. It also creates a very interesting effect on the pieces. See, the thread is kind of bumpy like this.
People make crazy stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I also have a little bit of Bulgarian viscose, kind of a beige color. Some golden and reddish threads like these. I don't even know exactly what this is, but I'm sure you'll have your own anyway. There you go. I also really like the textures that silk noil creates. Usually it's sold in white, or maybe in some stores you can find it already dyed. But I dyed it blue because we're making a blue hat. And right now it doesn't look very appealing, but I'll show you later how it looks in the finished piece. It really gives an interesting texture. By the way, take a look at the chair cover over there, please. Okay. Here, silk noil was used, and it created this incredibly beautiful texture. Just look at it.
You need to plan the next masterclass. This is such a bottomless topic.
It looks beautiful.
Yes.
You can use this for covers or for some kind of artwork. And, well, just for anything at all.
It's beautiful, and I think it's also really durable, practically indestructible.
So, here's what I ran into. I bought new chairs. And these chairs turned out to be so beautiful for the kitchen that I started to feel sorry for them. As a result, I realized that I would make covers. And these covers turned out looking like this. Honestly, I think they're even more striking than the chairs themselves.
It looks really upscale.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yes. There you go. So, what else? What else? Well, I guess that's it. Now, let's talk about something else. So, about the color wheel. Today, I actually like to use just a few colors in my work. Well, 2 at most, probably. But I use 2 colors and then use nuanced shades of those colors. So you see, we have dark blue, light blue, sky blue, turquoise, and some kind of blue-violet. If we move into the yellow palette, right, then we have orange, brown, beige, and some kind of blue-gold, you know. The same thing happens with fabrics. So when you use a lot of textures, you don't necessarily need to use a lot of colors because those textures will do the work for you. They'll create that kind of mix, you know, which will still look impressive. Of course, you can, for example, well, in this height even here, look, burgundy, pink, blue, it's actually just 2 colors, right? It's not just a darker blue, a lighter blue, and then burgundy, bit of pink, something more red. So again, just two colors. In the green one, take a look. It's the same in the set. Gold and green. There you go, two colors. But these textures that you add, they play so beautifully that you probably don't need any more. What guides me when I choose these complementary colors, the ones that are positioned opposite each other on the color wheel. So for example, I can take a look, if we're talking about blue, there's this little arrow here. Let me show you. Set it up. It's actually quite easy to work with. Here's blue, and directly opposite it is the complementary color orange. But I take one step to the right or one step to the left. Well, that's my choice. But still, even if we look here, yes, we'll have this color here.
Everything's by the rule.
Yeah, everything's by the rules. But at some point, it's also a bit by my own rules, because I'll be honest with you, the experience of working with colors is developed either during your education, if you have an art background, some kind of school where you studied all this, or university, or over time with experience, when you look at pieces you like and you develop your own style and you start to understand for yourself what works for your creations and what doesn't. That's experience. So the color wheel will be helpful to you. But it won't be an axiom that you absolutely have to follow, because your creations will be uniquely yours and they will reflect you and express exactly what you want to say. So we've sorted out the materials. Now I'll tell you how to make a pattern and how to calculate the shrinkage coefficient. How do we make the pattern for a hat? It's all pretty simple. We take a rectangle like this and, well, we shape it as we like, right? Like this lamp here. Here is the pattern. See, take a look. And here we also make a slant like this. How do we calculate all these measurements? Well, you take the head circumference, right?